Before we jump into the episode today, I want to share something with you from my heart. First of all, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I really can't tell you how much your support means to me. We've been doing the podcast now for almost 4 years. I can't even believe it. And I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you that listens, shares an episode with your friends, sends me a DM or a text message letting me know how an episode resonated with you or any aha moments. Seriously, I couldn't be more grateful to be able to create this podcast. It has been such a blessing in my life, and I love hearing the ways it's been able to provide value in yours as well. One thing you might not know is how much work it takes to be consistent with a podcast. In fact, did you know that the majority of podcasts don't make it past episode number 10? And we are well beyond that. And it's just a lot thinking of the episodes, recording them, editing them, managing the guests, making sure that everything runs smoothly and gets uploaded consistently and regularly. And so that's why I have created an amazing opportunity for you to support the podcast monetarily. And in exchange for that, you will get exclusive premium subscriber content. So for as little as $3 a month, you can become a premium subscriber of the podcast. And every month I will upload new voice-guided workouts and breathwork meditation audio for you. So that way you can work out with me, coaching you in your ears. You can also take a moment to reduce your stress and relax and come down and ground down with one of my breathwork audios. So if that is on your heart to support the podcast for as little as $3 a month to become a premium podcast subscriber, I can't tell you how much that means to me and the growth of this podcast. I appreciate you. If you're interested, click the link in the description, become a premium podcast subscriber, new content every month, and while supplies last, I'll send you an exclusive podcast coffee mug so you can have your self-love and sweat coffee every morning. I appreciate you. Now let's get into the show. Welcome to Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast, the place where you'll get inspired to live your life unapologetically, embrace your perfect imperfections, break down barriers, and do what sets your soul on fire. I'm your host, Lunden Souza. Hey friend, it's me, Lunden Souza, online lifestyle transformation coach. I help people all over the world just like you who know they are meant for more, get their mind right and their body tight, and go from crazy busy to crazy happy. And hey, if it's our first time meeting, welcome. So happy to have you. And if you've been with us for a while, it's so great that you're here too. I'm really excited to share this episode of the Self-Love and Sweat podcast with you. Hey, I want to tell you quickly about 2 ways that you can get connected beyond the podcast to up-level your health, your life, your fitness, reach your goals, but also support the podcast as well. So the first option is our Self-Love and Sweat monthly members-only meetup. We meet up on the last Saturday of the month on Zoom for 90 minutes to cover some important topics, to answer your questions, and then to also do a workout together. It's a great way to have that support, have that accountability, get supercharged, and get reminded that there are other people all over the world on this journey of self-love and sweat, and you don't have to do it alone. You can join your first month for only $1 using code SELFLOVE1 at checkout, and then it's $27 a month after that. So you go to lifelikeLondon.com/monthly, use the code SELFLOVE1 at checkout to try us out, test it out for only $1 for your first month, and then you can be on board to listen to the podcast, join up on the meetups, and just really feel like you're connected and thriving on this journey to reach your goals. The second option is our Strong at Home for Women 8-week dumbbell-only workout plan. We have women all over the world getting stronger from the inside out right at home, right? So we're ready to take action to get stronger despite the circumstances of the world. And we know that we're not about to do that alone. So embark on this 8-week journey with us. You can go to lifelikeLondon.com/strong at home. You can pick up your 8-week plan. And the exciting thing is that every 8 weeks, we open it up, myself and my co-coach, for VIP all access coaching with us. So not only do you get the plan, but you get Zoom fireside chats with us. You get an exclusive way to chat with us anytime so you can ask your questions, share your progress. And we're always continuing to stay connected and motivate and inspire each other on our journey to get stronger, no matter what that means for us. So if you know that you're meant for more, you're ready to get stronger from the inside out, and you're just like, yes, I need a plan and some structure, something to tell me what to do. I know I'm ready, but I need that coaching. I can't do it alone. We are here for you. You can go to lifelikeLondon.com/strong at home, pick up the plan, figure out when our next VIP all access registration is opening so you can get that support and guidance. And the third thing, I said there was two, but the third thing is you can do both. You can join us for those monthly meetups. You can be there for the 8-week program. You know, this coaching and this support is here for you. We want to get you real results that last so you never have to start over again. And so you guys are awesome. Enjoy this episode. Get connected. Self-love and sweat, friends. So just about a year ago, I came back from Austria to America. And 6 years prior to that, I'm like, once upon a time, 6 years prior to that, I moved to Austria. So this episode is going to be a reflection of being 1 year back in America after having lived abroad for 6 years. And I just felt like, yeah, the timing was really appropriate for it because on the time recording this episode, it's July 2nd, but on June 10th, that was the day that I boarded my flight from Austria to come back to America in the middle of COVID, like a few months into it. And I had originally planned to come for my niece's birthday, which we are gearing up for her 3rd birthday now. So at the time I was coming back for her 2nd birthday. And I just packed like one suitcase. I had planned on coming, for a few weeks and then going back to Austria. But as soon as I got back to being around family, and, being out of Austria during a time, the pandemic was happening, life was crazy. And so being around family and then also just, having a different, kind of thought process for life, I was kind of, back in America with my one suitcase thinking, what the heck, why am I going to go back? Even though I love Austria, I love my life there. It's amazing. I would not have really come back otherwise, but now it's different. Now I have a niece. She's 2. Like I said, now she's going to be 3, but at the time she was 2. And, I was getting to spend time with friends that I hadn't, got to spend time with like that in 6 years because I would always come down for holidays and everyone would be in town. It was like, you don't really get that one-on-one friend time that you normally get just to be spontaneous. You want to grab a coffee, you want to hang out, want to talk, want to chat, go for a bike ride, whatever. And so I just started really loving that and really just, feeling fueled and fulfilled and happy and, less stress being in that situation. And so I just decided, hey, you know what? There's nothing that's in Austria, no thing, right? That I can't really sell, get rid of. And there are some things that I can, list off the top of my head, which were a few important mementos and things from traveling and jewelry and stuff like that, that I want back. But other than that, no thing really matters. Really what matters the most is being around my family and being able to create the memories and experiences with my friends and with my niece. And I just really I'm a girl and I get it. We get excited about our clothes and our shoes and our things or whatever, but none of that mattered.
none of it mattered at all. I was just like, whatever, I couldn't even remember. I just knew I had a lot of sweaters and shoes and jackets. And sometimes I think about all the coats I had there, but I just decided, you know what, let's get rid of everything. Let's just send back, like get shipped to me the bare minimum, the things that you need that are important to you. And like a few things to get you started back here. And the rest of it, with my apartment, I was able to find someone to take over my lease. I had just gotten a new bed, new furniture, new plates, like new everything. I was like new IKEA stuff I had put together. Like, let's just let it all go together. And I just decided like, okay, I'm going to get rid of all of those stuff. I'm going to start fresh and I'm just going to make it happen because being around family and, not being a 10-hour flight across the ocean away feels really good to me. And I just kind of want to do that. And that was, the next major step. And of course, it sounds like I say it faster and easier than like, of course it actually was. But I wanted to use this like 1 year time frame of me being back in America after choosing to come back, choosing family, choosing, time and experiences with people, close by. Just kind of, what that looks and feels like for me. And I feel like in a lot of the change and, changes in our lives and things like this, there's always a lot of great learnings and a lot of great experiences that can always become teachers, for myself and for anybody listening. And so when I talk about this, the way I want to, talk about this is really like a comparison. So like, comparing, when I moved to Austria was the first time I ever lived abroad. I did a whole episode on moving abroad and how I like cried for quinoa and kale. And like, there was so many things that were just like so important. You're just like complete culture shock. Culture shock is real. But I compare really the first time of me moving to Austria versus me coming back and like knowing the things that I know and knowing that, new routines, new people, new language, even though English is my first language, I'm used to hearing German all of the time and talking, more German. And, then you're in America and you can hear everybody's side conversations, like all the things, just all the things, right? So I just knew that new routines, new habits, new foods, new grocery routines, where I was going to live was going to be different. The ability to travel, I knew that everything was going to be different. And so because of that, I remembered my experience when I moved to Austria. Like I went through and I sat in that moment of, I really thought about that experience a lot. And I sat there and I was thinking of the times where like, oh yeah, remember you wish you could have shown up better that way. This is the time to do it. Or, it's going to be hard, London. It was hard then. It's going to be hard again. But you did it last time and you were able to, pull through it. And that was like really, really awesome. And you were able to crush it. And so in this comparison, I just really feel like I'm learning from my resiliency and I'm learning from the hard times that I was able to pull through. And I think that we oftentimes look to other people for their inspiration of hard times that they've gotten through, which is great. Like I love being inspired by other people and like I love hearing those stories, but like, what about getting hyped up on ourselves, and just getting super excited about those resilient moments and thinking about that for fuel, And so when I think about those two comparisons, I'm also coming from a place of like, wow, like that was a lot and you've gone through a lot and, moving countries is a lot, changing the way that you live and do things and work and just people you work with and everything is a lot. But you did it that time and it was just so, it was a lot for you then. And you did it again this time, but it was in a new way, with new learnings and new teachers. And you had, some, like I had some like skin in the game already. I knew what I was kind of in for. I knew it was going to be important to lean into things like meditation and community. And, just like getting back into a schedule and routine, even if I felt a little meh or lull there. And so there was a lot of learnings and a lot of growth for sure. And so, I just kind of wanted to, take it from that angle of really like, it's not, my moving country might be you're switching jobs or going through a breakup or going, through an, crushing through workouts and changing up your routines for nutrition to reach those goals. Like we all have these different mountains that we're climbing, but chances are we have done something in the past, either similar or just feels equally as hard and but we overcame it, and we can learn from that, and we can get, be reminded of that, and we can say, heck yeah, I did that before, I can do it again. And sometimes when I say that, like, I've done it before, I can do it again, it's in the midst of, sweat during a workout. It's amidst the ugly cry and tears and just snot coming down. It's just like, yeah, I've done it before, I can do it again. It's not like you simply sit and like say, I have done it before, I can do it again. It's consistently showing yourself that, and consistently, like reminding yourself of that even in the tough times, and thinking about that even in the tough times, because I know that we've all had an experience that we feel like our whole world has been shifted upside down. And sometimes it's by choice, like moving country or whatever. And sometimes, you just got to do something that's different, move somewhere else, or doctor says you got to jump into something, right away, take care of your health, whatever. Like sometimes we're forced into certain things. Hopefully, we can go into it with a choice of action when it comes for change there in a positive direction for our health and wellness. But sometimes it's, we don't have a choice when it comes to that. And sometimes we don't have a choice when it's, time to go and move and do something and be in a different environment and different space. And so regardless of, if we have that choice or not, or if we're thrown into a situation or not, we get to choose how we show up to that. And so in this reflection, I'm just reflecting on the differences of how I've chosen to show up this time around moving country. First of all, I knew the emotional roller coaster I was in for. And so I was able to ride that so much better, because I knew last time I told myself, it's going to take a year, it's going to take a year, it's going to take a year, because everybody told me so. And then it did. And then I experienced that 1 year mark of like, so not only did people tell me, and I fought for that there the first time around, but then I felt it. And now this time around, I knew I had to get through that year mark of just riding the wave of emotions, and whatever that might look and feel like and be like, I had to be cool with it, because that's just kind of what it takes and feels like. I feel like maybe you've moved country before. Let me know. You can always send me a DM on Instagram, but it's just like that year, and just knowing what I was in for that was a big learning, Leaning into routines was another one that was really important, but not to a fault. I remember when I first moved to Austria, it was like everything was new. I just wanted to cling on to any sense of normalcy of anything, and this time I knew everything was going to be new. And I knew there was going to be like, where I got my food and when I ate and what I ate, and just like where I was waking up and where my work environment was, and all these routines that like I knew were going to be different, and I knew I was going to have to figure them out. And I knew that probably the first time around wasn't going to be the first of the last time, And so I was much more prepared to like, okay, going into the trenches again, of finding habits and routines that feel good for me and that work for my goals and all that type of thing. New people. Right? When we're surrounded by new people that we're not used to being around on a regular, and we're getting used to like all of that, it could be really easy for me to just feel like annoyed and want to like seclude a little bit. And I did that a lot when I moved to Austria. It was really like people wanted to hang out and spend time. And I was just like trying to process and deal. And I was like, no, like I can't, and that's like my first inclination to do. Like, that's what I would normally do, is just like, I need my space. Right. But this time I knew like my word of 2021 was connection. I knew that, expediting the process through healing in groups with people and sharing and opening up and having coaching and friends and just like opening up to being connected with other people is really the way to go. And so I did that faster than I would have otherwise. I sought out community and connection and people and just like doing things and, being involved a little bit faster than I normally would, because I knew that, I needed that in-person connection. I needed to have those moments with my friends and conversations and time spent and just like things that I had missed out on before, it's just like I knew that being in that connection, being connected with my friends and family, and diving into communication about a lot of what was going on instead of just always dealing with it kind of like with myself and my meditation and my journaling, which helps and which I love. But I just knew like, okay, this time around Lunden, like you got to jump into that connection too. And so that's something that I did differently that I'm really proud of. That was like pretty sticky and uncomfortable. And it's like, especially, like I have friends and I love them and we've been friends for a long, long, long time. But it's like then when you live in different countries with them and you have to like coordinate time zones and you don't really talk that much and you're texting, whatever, it's very different than like connecting with them on a regular basis. And I see them more often. I'm talking to them on the phone and sharing day-to-day experiences with them and like opening up and being vulnerable and like sharing feelings and just like whatever was a great thing, for my relationships to help, with that for sure moving forward, but also just something new and different because it's like when we had time to talk, it was just like, oh, what's going on in your life? What's going on? Da, da, da. Like, give me all the details and highlights, but it wasn't like the day-to-day like grit, if you will, or I should say like the grime and the grit, if you will, of just sharing that. And so that connection really helped a ton. And then normally, like I have coaches all the time. I have coaches, but I really leaned into, not needing to have all the like pieces and everything put together and leaning into more of the connection with myself through that coaching and the connection with them and not needing to have like a roadmap of all those things. So yeah, overall, I just felt like I leaned much more into connection this time, which like I said, is not my instinct. I love to be around people. I'll host workout events with thousands of people. I'll go to conferences. I like to be in the audience learning. I like to be speaking on, stages. Like I like to be, but it's not something that, it takes my energy when I do that. I love to give my energy in those places, but I also know how to restore it. And so I restore it, being on my own and doing my thing. But I didn't want to do that to a fault, especially during a time like moving country and switching, all the things that were happening. I knew the importance of leaning into community. And I knew that I wanted to take time to process. And I knew that I would. I knew that I would spend time in prayer, meditation, and journaling like I always do. But it was really important for me to step into that connection with other people, with my friends, with my coaches, in group coaching programs, as a coach and also as a participant. So it's been really awesome this time around too. And then the other one I would say I've learned the most is just like not having so many expectations surrounding the when. I know I said like, oh, it has to be a year, and by a year, this time everything will be like hunky-dory. I'm sure I have plenty to learn, but just like coming back, I think I had a lot of expectations surrounding, kind of where I should be as we all kind of get there, and just like how things should be set up and like where my life should be, and like not even like shoulds from other people. It was just kind of like, yeah, I always set up goals and, kind of that big dream when I came here of like what things would kind of look and be like, and timelines have shifted and like things kind of, have been all over the place. But nonetheless, I feel like, this time around, just I've learned a little bit more about expectations and having them, just about myself and capabilities, celebrating that progress along the way. Expectations surrounding people, I've learned a lot too, is just like, also my experiences through connection and expectations surrounding people and whatever have helped me, kind of line up with like, okay, what does it mean to be me? And what do I, what are my core values as Lunden, and what, that type of thing too. So I feel like all those, I don't want to say unmet expectations, but just expectations I set that I was like, that didn't really go. Those have been miraculous teachers and have been really awesome. And so I think when I moved to Austria, things were going so fast and I was doing so much. It was like, didn't really have time for expectations. It was like the expectations was just like, go, create, have fun. We were in startup mode, creating videos, all the fun, whatever. And now I feel like I've slowed down enough to say like, okay, did I have expectations, surrounding where I should be at this age with this part of my, in my life, stage in my business, moving, just kind of like where I was going to live, apartment, like there's certain things that just still are sorting themselves out. But I think they're, coming head to head and face to face this time around with those expectations, and whether they've been met or exceeded in some cases, or also like not met at all, or not even like, it's like, oh my gosh, I had an expectation for that. I can't even go there yet, in that area, just like, not because I'm ignoring it, but it's just like things take time, and change and habits and routines and coming into that really takes time. And so I just feel like, learning from expectations this time around has been a much bigger lesson. Like I said, I got used to like not needing too many things, finding new places to know, just like all your basic day-to-day stuff. But when it came to like expectations surrounding, where my life, business, personally, professionally, whatever should be. Hello, London, even amongst a pandemic and just changing of the worlds, of course, we always have expectations on ourselves. And so I was reminded, okay, London, you still do set high expectations for yourself. Okay, if you really, lean yourself up against them, are those realistic? And are you doing more harm than good by putting yourself up to those expectations? And then also like being more lenient with them too, and saying like, I'm glad you have those standards, the goals you want to reach, the grandiose scheme of all of it, but being able to say like, okay, that can be over here for now. It's still something I'm fired up about, but I'm human and I want to go with the flow. I want to respect my body. I want to respect my heart, and how I'm feeling. And so that's just going to be something that like goes, it happens at some point, but it's all good if it doesn't. And so that's been, some major learnings there too. So it's just kind of a reflection from my end. I didn't want to, the first episode I did on moving abroad, I shared with you guys a lot about just like the funny quirks and lists I made of things I missed and what made me upset and how I felt and whatever. And it was an emotional roller coaster this time for sure. But I'm just so proud of the version of myself, Lunden, that moved to Austria when she did, and went out on a whim and like went through all of that to go through all of that to make it here, to have this learning and this experience and this growth and this teacher again. And now I have, I'm just getting much into that flow of just appreciating much more where I've been over the last years. I'm getting a little teary-eyed as I'm talking about this because I am having a moment where it's like, hype your shit up, Lunden. I always tell you guys this too. It's like hype ourselves up, because it's been a year. And I'm super proud of. I mean, of course there was, things where I was like, I wanted to be here by then. And I mean, forget that. I'm super happy that I'm here and I'm alive and I'm ready to serve and I'm healthy. And we have this podcast. We just launched YouTube. We're refining and making Strong at Home for Women even better. Me and my co-coach Ella, we're like going to the drawing board this July to just like, oh my gosh, I have so much stuff to dump into this program, so much heart and soul to add for the next time we welcome women in there. Like, I'm just so proud of what we've been able to do. And I think, I'll take this moment, and you guys do it too, is like put your left hand on your right shoulder and your right hand on your left shoulder and give yourself a little hug. It's been, right? It's been one. And I mean, I'm coming to this moment showing you this on video or on a podcast, wherever you're listening to it. But I do this a lot, just like coming back to ourselves and being like, hey, you're doing so good, one day at a time, one, action at a time, one water at a time, one workout at a time, one meditation session, one journal session at a time, one meeting at a time. Like, we are doing such a great job. You're included in that we statement. And hopefully you can think of a moment of resilience in your life, compare it to the next time, and just, how have you shown up better? This is a celebration on how I feel like I've shown up better this time around moving country. And I think that you deserve a moment of celebration too. So how have you been able to show up better? I want to hear about it. Shoot me a DM. You can slide into my DMs on @LifeLikeLondon on Instagram. Connect with me there. I want to hear all about it. You're awesome. You're crushing it. And keep going. The world needs you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast. Hey, do me a favor. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, give us a review. This really helps a lot. And share this with a friend. I'm only one person, and with your help, we can really spread the message of self-love and sweat and change more lives all around the world. I'm Lunden Souza, reminding you that you deserve a life full of passion, presence, and purpose, fueled by self-love and sweat. This podcast is a Hit Spot Austria production.